Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 17, which is entitled as śraddhā tri-vidhā yoga, the three types of faith. Sloka 2, Part 3. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca, tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā, dehināṁ svabhāva-jā, sāttvikī rājasī caiva, tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. In the previous session, we learnt how the living entity get into the cycle of repeated birth because of the śraddhā, which is born from ruchi, which is born from the vasanas, the vasana which is carried from anadi kala, due to our repeated birth in various bodies and performing various deeds. So there is no point in working towards śraddhā, the action. Rather, one needs to correct the ruchi, the desire, by giving proper medicine or treatment. Once we get the right ruchi, then automatically the śraddhā that we get will also be taken care. So the question is, how do we get out of this cycle? Can we even get out of this cycle? It seemed to be that we are deeply rooted here, as we learned in the 15th chapter by the example of the inverted banyan tree. Urdhva moolam adashakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit adaschodum pratasatasya shakaha gunapravriddha vishaya pravalaha adascha moolani anusantatani karmanu bandini manushya loke. Krishna is not going to give a speech with 700 slokas to just say Arjuna and us that no, you can't escape from this one. So the answer is yes, we can come out of this. We have to come out of it without getting caught within the cycle of vasana. That means not that we can get rid of the vasanas, we have to re-image the vasana with something else. Right now our vasanas are not favorable in our Krishna consciousness, in attaining Krishna. So we have to make those vasanas favorable. That is only possible if we are aware that we are stuck in this cycle. If someone doesn't know that they have a pain in their foot, why even they are bothered to take medicine? Why even they will go to doctor? So the first thing is to be aware that we are struggling in this cycle for many lifetimes. Unless we know we have disease, unless we are aware of our disease, we will not take any measure to take care of the disease, to treat the disease. Unless and until we know that we are stuck and struggling here in this material world, in this body, we will not take any steps to get out of this mess. We will only become serious when we understand that we are, yes, having serious problem, life after life after life, which is being influenced by the vasanas and the anadi kala karma. When one becomes serious to find out the means to get out of this problem, he comes to know that I am not the owner of this activity. I do not expect any reward for my action. Everything is done as an offering to the Lord, and I will do only those things which is recommended in the Shastra by the Lord, and will not do anything that has not been instructed in the Shastras. By doing so, three things happens. The impression, which is step 1, the vasanas becomes good vasanas, and that leads to good ruchi, step 2, and that good ruchi will give good śraddhā. Step 3. When we are under the little influence of sattva guna, I'm saying little because that's the least that we all have. More we have is rajoguna and tamoguna. But whenever there is a chance for sattva guna to be prominent, that time one must take advantage of the situation and take proper guidance from the right source. And that will gradually help one to increase the sattva guna, and the rajoguna and tamoguna will gradually reduce. Let's understand this more in detail with a question. Atma by nature is free of sattva, rajas and tamas. Then how come we say the svabhāva of the Atma? We already saw this, but we are going to see a little more in detail now. Jivatma, along with its consciousness, engaged into a particular body. That body, with the mind, has 3 gunas. What we need to know here is Jivatma, along with its consciousness, which is also known as dharma bhuta jnana. We covered this one in 13th chapter, 13th sloka, part 3. That is, Atma is made of jnana, and Atma possesses jnana. The jnana that Atma is made of will identify itself, whereas the jnana it possesses helps the Atma to identify the external things. Please refer to that recording to refresh on this topic. Now, when the Jivatma along with its consciousness get engaged into a certain body, we know that the body and the mind are of 3 gunas. Depending which guna is predominant at a given time, the consciousness of the Jivatma will associate with that particular guna and start engaging in that particular mode and develops particular śraddhā in that mode. If the body and mind are predominated by sattva guna, the consciousness associates with the sattva guna and engage in sattva guna activities and desires for sattva guna rewards, and the śraddhā is of sattva guna. If the body and mind are predominated by rajoguna, the consciousness associates with the rajoguna and engages in rajoguna activities and desires for rajoguna rewards. And if the body and mind are predominated by tamoguna, the consciousness associates with the tamoguna and engages in tamoguna activities and desires for tamoguna rewards. From this, it is clear that between Atma and Sharira, that is the self and body, the jnana, that is the consciousness of the Atma, gets impacted by these gunas of the body and the mind, and hence develops sāttvika ruchi, rājasa ruchi or tāmasa ruchi, and perform respective action based on that śraddhā, which becomes sāttvika śraddhā, rājasa śraddhā or tāmasa śraddhā. Since it is the Jivatma's consciousness which goes through such changes, therefore Krishna says dehināṁ svabhāva-jā, anādikāla vāsana, because of vāsana ruchi, because of ruchi śraddhā. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said, Kāmaha sankalpo vichikitsa śraddhā dhritir hrir dhir bhir iti etat sarvam mana eva. Desire, determination, uncertainty, faith, lack of faith, perseverance, lack of perseverance, humility, intelligence, and fear are all products of mind. If it is product of mind, why then Krishna says it's product or svabhāva of Atma? That is because it's Atma's consciousness, dharma bhuta jnana, which associates with these gunas through the mind and body, and that jnana goes through all the changes. Therefore it is said nature of Atma, Atma svabhāva. How do we understand this? By asking a question, what in case if the departed Atma doesn't enter another body right away? It is not necessary when someone dies, the Atma is going to immediately get another body. They may be without body for some period of time, for many years. The Atma may be stuck on something without having the body, can be on an object, can be even in an open space. In those conditions, the Atma has no change to experience its vasana, ruchi, and have śraddhā, because it doesn't have the body. Unless Atma has the body, unless the Atma associates with the body, it will not be able to experience its vasana, which gives one ruchi. So from this we need to know the svabhāva is Atmas, but the svabhāvam is not expressed, experienced without body. Therefore we say that it is the nature of the body, but in actuality it is the nature of the Atma. Again, let's be clear, Atma does not go through any changes, but the consciousness of Atma goes through changes. The vikaram, the changes, happens on the conscious level, not on the Atma. But since the consciousness is always with the Atma, we say Atma svabhāva, nature of Atma. Now the next question is, how do we accept that the unseen modes, sattva, rajas and tamas, are actually influencing the Atma's desire? No one has ever seen the sattva guna, rajoguna or tamoguna. Then how can we say that the consciousness of the Atma goes through these changes because of the influence of the three gunas? Answer is karyaika nirupanayaha sattvādayo gunaha. When we see someone who has a clear knowledge, then we can identify that this person has sattva guna predominantly. When someone is always angry and desiring for material things, then we can say that person is influenced by rajoguna. When someone is always feeling lazy, sleepy, commit lot of mistake due to inattentiveness, we can say that person to be predominantly in tamoguna. None of these are new topic for those who are students of Bhagavad Gita. We covered these things in the 14th chapter. From this we can understand it is those unseen modes which influences the Atma's desire. Now the next question is, what is the confirmation that it is the three gunas which is influencing the Atma's consciousness? That also we have learnt that as long as the Atma is without the body, there is no changes to it. Meaning there is no changes to its consciousness. But once it gets the body, the changes happens immediately. So it is clear the cause of changes is present in the body, and the body is made of sattva, rajas and tamas. To summarize, the Atma with its consciousness gets entangled within a particular body. The body has three gunas, likewise the indriyas and the mind, which influences the consciousness of the Atma, and that consciousness goes through changes. Now we have to conclude this session with a very important question: how to modify the program of the body to our favor, towards Krishna, towards liberation, not towards further bondage. We know that we cannot stop the jnana which travels. We cannot change the jnana's being influenced through the three gunas. The only thing which is under our control is the three modes in the mind. The mind also has sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna. What needs to be done is reduce the impact of rajoguna and tamoguna and increase the sattva guna. In other words, focus on increasing the sattva guna and automatically the rajoguna and tamoguna will reduce. Once the sattva guna increases, the jnana, the consciousness of the Atma, absorbs the sattva guna and develops sāttvika ruci, and which produces sāttvika śraddhā, and one obtains a good result. So, we cannot change the Atma, we cannot change the Atma jnana, we can't change the śraddhā once the ruci is developed, because it will be too late in the program. Only thing we can do is to increase sattva guna in our mind. So the question is, how do we increase sattva guna? Two things: nityanushtana karma and ahara niyama. Nitya karmas are those duties or services that we do every day. Whatever we are practicing daily in our Krishna consciousness, making our chanting as priority, studying scriptures, deity worship, associating with the devotees, serving the devotees, serving the temple, all these must be done on a regular basis, in fact daily basis. That's why it's called Nitya Karma. Along with that, ahara niyama is very important. Eating food that is recommended in the Shastra, food that is offered only to Krishna, should be consumed. We learnt about this in the 3rd chapter, 13th sloka. Yajna shishtasino santaha muchyante sarva kilbishaihi bunjante tu agam papa ye pachanti atma karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. These two are very important: doing our devotional service and ahara niyama. So, the faith that the embodied beings are endowed with is of three types. According to their nature, it differs as being sattvik, rājasī or tāmasī. Now starting from next sloka, Krishna is going to elaborate on this subject. śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Namaste. Hare Krishna.